Hello, pocket knife community, knife lovers, knife enthusiasts, interested viewers. Folder here. We're not quite in June yet, but we're close enough. So I'm gonna do a top, a favorites video. I love favorites videos. Being a knife collector and enthusiast, your collection changes, so it's necessary to do these videos to update, to update where you are, what's going on. At the end of the year, I do my top 10 favorite knives in my entire collection, but I think I'm gonna narrow this one down. I'm gonna do just my top 5 Spydercos. Spyderco being my favorite, one of my absolute favorite knife manufacturers. I own about 30 to 35 of them, and most of them are PM2s. So, yeah, but in my top 5, let me see, let me take a look here. I got I got three different models of Spydercos in my top 5. And I have 3, 4, 5, and 5 different models in I'm gonna do an honorable mention. I always do an honorable mention. I know. I can't do it. I can't just talk about 5 knives. You know that. All right, so I have to do an honorable mention. The honorable mention obviously are knives that didn't quite make my top 5, but they're so good I have to mention them. All right, and my honorable mention, I have actually 4 knives in my honorable mention. So let's just stop talking about this nonsense and get into it. All right, let's get into it. So we're talking about honorable mention Spydercos in my Spyderco collection. Didn't quite make my top 5, but I think they're worth talking about. Okay, so the first one, and these are not in any particular order. All right, so the honorable mention is not in any particular order. These are just knives that I really, really like. And yeah, so let's just go. Let's get into it. So my first knife in the honorable mention is my Spyderco PM2 in Magna Cut with an NDLC near diamond light coating blade, which is redundancy for Magna Cut, by the way, with the G10. So yeah, I got this not that long ago. This knife is excellent. It came perfectly centered blade. The action is butter smooth. Really, really nice knife. Yeah. So this knife would be one of the knives that is in my my top my honorable mention. Okay. And this is the Salt series, if I might add, the Salt series. Okay, let's keep going. My next, oh yeah, and also too, when I say a particular knife like the PM2, I don't mean PM2s overall. I'm talking about that PM2. All right, this exact one. All right, not all PM2s are created equal. All right, so different blade steels, different scales, the action's different. It's just okay. My next knife is also a PM2, and this is my PM2. Right, this is an S45VN with the Flytanium titanium scales. This is a build that I did. It also has a titanium mill pocket clip. This straight clip, this is really nice. It's much better than the factory clip that comes on here. The action on this knife is also butter smooth. Excellent. Did I mention this S45VN steel, which is an excellent steel. It's right there in the middle. It has decent toughness, decent edge retention, and the corrosion's good. Not an all-around performer as good as Magna Cut, but S45 is extremely respectable. When you compare it to Magna Cut, I guess where Magna Cut would have S45 beat would be in toughness. Magna Cut is definitely tougher than S45 VN. Okay? All right. My next knife in my honorable mention is going to be my Mr. Shaman. Yeah, so this is the only Spyderco Shaman that I own. This particular Shaman is I changed the scales because it came with the, I don't like the color of the it's like a brown, like a pale brown G10 scales that it comes with. Just not favorable. And I was going to dye them at first, but I decided to just buy a set of used, actually. I bought these on the secondary market used, got them really cheap, and they're black already. So I just put these on here, and this is 15V. That's what's special about this Shaman. It comes in 15V steel, 15V crew red CPM 15V is a very highly edge retentive steel. Incredible edge retention. It is not stainless, and it does not have really good toughness. But being a Shaman with this ridiculous blade stock thickness, and we all know, right? People that understand knives, that understand about knives, understand that blade toughness is important, but blade stock thickness can overcome a metallurgy that's not as tough. So if you have a steel that's not so tough, but you're looking for a little bit of toughness, just get a thick old blade like that. Get a thick ass blade like that, and that'll fix your problem, right? So yeah, but it is not stainless. I got the CME, right? Compression made easy tab on here, and the milled pocket clip on this is second to none. This pocket clip is absolutely outstanding. It looks amazing. It works incredible. It blows the stock clip out the water. I kept this knife this way. I'm not going to do this up in titanium or anything. I kept it as a working knife, and it is just a beast of a knife. Really, really nice Spyderco Shaman. And my last knife in my honorable mention for my top 5 is my K390 Delica. Woo! Full titanium scales, custom milled pocket clip, and K390 is a beast of holding an edge. This steel holds an edge forever. You could cut rope till the cows come home with this steel. And look at the blade stock thickness on this. Look at how thin it is behind the edge. This is literally a surgical razor knife. I mean, this thing is unbelievable. It is a really, really nice knife. It's a back lock. Really like this knife. It's a little crude because it's not centered, but you know, I forgive Spyderco on that one, and it definitely made it into my honorable mention. So there it is. All right, that's my honorable mention. So let's just get down, and it is the time. Woo! It's time of the hour. It is time for my top 5 Spydercos in my collection. My absolute favorite Spydercos in my collection. All right, and let me tell you right now, I only represent 3 models in this. I do have a lot of other Spyderco models that just I love, absolutely love. But what you got to do? You got to make a choice, right? So here we go. So these are actually in order. I'm gonna go from 5 down to 1, and let's just get started. My number 5 of my top 5 favorite. Love them. Spydercos is BAM! The Spyderco Canis is number 5. This knife, Kelly Cannon design. This thing is in S30V. What I love about this knife so much is the ergos are absolutely hand melting. Amazing ergos. Really set up for self-defense, combat. Fighting. That's what this knife is. It's actually a fighting knife. I really do like the carbon G10 combination. I don't mind it at all. With all the all the Tai Chung knives have them. Well, not all of them, but it's notorious for Tai Chung. And the blade on this is just absolutely beautiful. The Warncliffe blade with the downward cant. You see the tip is actually lower than the center line of the knife, which really gives you that forward cant for cutting and for piercing. Yeah, can't say enough about it. Number 5, is the Canis. Really, 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 really nice knife. Love this knife. Which way? Doesn't matter. I'll put it over there for now. Okay, so number 4. Number 4. In my top 5 Spydercos in my entire collection, my top 5, number 4 is my AWT PM2. So as you saw before, I did have 2 other PM2s, And in my collection, what's different about this knife is this is an S90V steel, and it has applied weapons technology scales, which these are ultra light scales. They're ultra light, ultra versatile, just really, really, really nice. S90V, if you didn't know, is a super steel. It is amazing steel. It's not super tough, but this knife does not need toughness. It is not going to ever be used for anything that requires toughness. But where it shines is edge retention. The edge retention is absolutely off the charts in S90V. And S90V is also a steel that's used in a lot of extremely expensive premium knives, S90V. You know, it is definitely up there on the charts. And my AWT is, this is definitely one of my favorites. Love this thing, okay? Number 5 and number 4, all right? We're moving right along here. So we're getting down to number 3. My third favorite Spyderco in my collection. And this knife actually, I don't know. This knife is like kind of new. I'm sorry guys, I'm sorry. I got a little sensitive there. This knife is really, I mean, it's kind of near and dear to my heart. Really is. It is my Manix 2. And this was like the first knife in my entire collection that I actually worked to customize. Like, I found these scales on eBay. At the time, you couldn't even buy scales that even look like this. At the time when I purchased these scales, like, nobody wanted aluminum, I guess. And I found these on eBay on the secondary market. They were actually used, right? They had a slight imperfection on them, but I got them anyway. I bought the knife from Blades We Love, and it had an anodized scales, which I took off. But Blades We Love, this is an S30V steel. They polished the blade. They polished the tang, which gives this knife incredibly butter smooth action. It is so smooth. I mean, I can't even stress like how it feels when it rolls out. It is just absolutely amazing. I also put the titanium ball cage on this, okay? And I ordered this custom backspacer. And at the time when I ordered it, it was hard to find the backspacer that went all the way from here, all the way up. For some reason, they were making them with like a gap right here. I don't know why. I mean, I think you can probably get these now. I don't know. But it had a space. Like they only came up partial way. I didn't want that. Like I wanted the entire backspacer. So when you look at the whole knife, it's just closed from the jimping here all the way around back. It is just an absolute beautiful knife. Really, really love this knife. It's only an S30V, but I will say it is Spyderco S30V. And Spyderco S30V is excellent. S30V is good anyway. You know, it's just that it's, you know, it's right at the edge of the super steels. It's not quite considered a super steel anymore. Even if I don't know if it actually was considered a super steel, but it's definitely lower on the ladder now with all the modern day steels out. The metallurgy is off the charts today. So yeah, but that is my 3. So this is good. This is good diversity, right? The Canis, the PM2, and the Manix 2, diversity. I have to say though, with my next 2 knives, there is some duplication. So sorry guys, it just happens that way. But we are at number 2. So moving right along, my second favorite Spyderco in my entire collection. Boom! It's also a Manix 2, my Kirinite Spyderco Manix 2. And let me tell you right now, so this knife, okay, first of all, it's in my, I could say Cruwear is my favorite steel. I absolutely love Cruwear. I mean, before Magna Cut came out, in my opinion, just my opinion, guys, Cruwear was the most versatile steel out there. It had very good edge retention, pretty, you know, good toughness, right? Good toughness and edge retention, right? Very tough, actually. And so the only thing it lacked was it's not a stainless steel. But when you put something like DLC on it, and, you know, that really takes care of that stainless part. And to be honest with you, Cruwear is one of those steels anyway that's not stainless, but you just do not get the problems you see with other steels if you keep crewware clean. So it, before Magna Cut, I mean, it was definitely, I mean, listen, it can't touch a stainless. You can't be putting this thing in salt water and letting it sit there. But listen, it's crewware, all right, and crewware has that reputation. This knife also has these Kirinite scales, and these scales I ordered custom from overseas. They just don't do Kirinite anymore. I don't know why. Kirinite is amazing. So I ordered them for this knife, and you know, they are just, they look shiny and slippery, but they're not. Like, it doesn't matter how you don't clean this off, like the oils from your hand get on it, and they're just never slippery. It just feels amazing in hand. So that, along with the this milled pocket clip, deep pocket clip, my ad. It's a micro clip too, man. Look how smart, look how short it is. Like, look at this clip compared to like what's on, you know, on the factory Spyderco. Is crazy how small it is. But it does its job. It sits in your pocket, and all you see is like that. All you see is like a little tip sticking out. You know, so this clip is awesome, man. It really is nice, and I absolutely love this knife. It's not for sale. Yeah, that's my number 2. Yeah, my Kirinite and DLC. And if you don't know about DLC coating, the black on this blade, the DLC coating is extremely tough, very tough. I mean, the HRC on it is out the chart. I think it's like, I mean, don't quote me on it. I really shouldn't be saying something if I don't know it, but I think it's like 80 or something like that. I think it's, you know, so it's really, really, they have tests on these on YouTube, I think, and on, you know, on the internet, and showing how strong this coating is. And, you know, they use it for anything that you want to be really strong and to hold a color. And they use it on firearms, you know, so it's really, really tough stuff. You know, you're not going to see, it's not like a cheap black coating, man. You're not going to see scratches on this thing. It's going to really hold up. So yeah, really tough. Nice knife. But we are down to number 1. My number 1 favorite Spyderco. And actually, this knife is not only my number 1 favorite Spyderco, but it is very close to probably being my number 1 knife I own, which is crazy because I own some really nice stuff, I have to admit. I'm going to move these out of the way because I'm bringing number 1 in. But this knife probably won't be number 1 of my favorite all-time knives. It's going to be close, though. It'll probably be in my top 3 or top 5 of every knife I own. Yeah, that's how good this knife is. I shouldn't even have said good, how much I love it. It's just amazing. So without further ado, folder here. Drum roll. My favorite Spyderco. Bam! I gotta stop that. Is my RG Custom Metalworks Spyderco PM2 in S110V. Whoo! So if you didn't know, S110V, when you compare it to S90V, S110V is also a super steel, blows Magna Cut clean out the water with edge retention. S110V is I would say what it has over S90, I think is corrosion resistance. But otherwise, they're really, really close. And you know, studies have shown that S90 is easier to sharpen. But anyway, yes. So this is my RG Custom Metalworks S110V Spyderco PM2. Beautiful milled pocket clip. Beautiful titanium finish on this thing. Is absolutely gorgeous. This is a Grail knife, if you didn't know. It also has Zircuti plugs in it. Also full titanium hardware, all anodized titanium hardware. And these scales and the setup on this knife cost as much as the knife. Actually, it costs more than a knife. So the setup to get this knife where it is you basically got to buy a PM2 and S110V and then get the setup. So it's more expensive than the knife itself. And this and on top of being absolutely gorgeous, okay, the action is incredible. Perfectly scented blade, it better be. Butter smooth action, and absolutely zero blade play. What you would expect from a Grail knife. But this knife is definitely a Grail level PM2. Yeah, yeah. You got to really love the PM2 to really to put this treatment on it. And I really do love the PM2. I really do. It's an amazing knife. The ergos are just absolutely incredible. Slicey, full flat grind. And this thing is absolutely insane. Surgical, plastic surgery sharp. So yeah, anyway, that would be my number one. And like I said, this knife also at the end of the year when I do my top 10 favorite knives in my entire collection, this knife is going to be up there. It's going to be up there. And I'm not saying my top 10 are my best knives or the ones that cut the best or whatever. It's just how I like them. And this knife will definitely be, you know, really high up there on the in the rankings. All right, that's all I got. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Thanks for watching. That's my top 5 favorite Spydercos. That's all I got.